motherfucker.
Let's play a game.
Got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I shot my wife in the stomach with 38.
Why did you do this?
She enticed me and she ridiculed me throughout my lifetime. I'll see if she's alive. She's alive? She's dead. I think she's dead.
Sensational.
Things that men do to upset women.
Breathe. Just stop it. We don't like it. It pisses us off. Stop breathing, okay?
Stop breathing, okay? Stop breathing. Bloody men. Stop breathing. Good evening, everybody. It is around about 22:11 on this great British evening, the 23rd of July, 2024. And I just thought I'd bring you a bit of news, clips, little things that I've seen, and a bit of fun, maybe.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
What's your problem? What are you looking at?
How are you today, sir? Okay, how's it going? Fine, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Interesting. I do like these funny little clips that I find somewhere on the internet. I've no idea where. Let's have a look at so what is a woman?
But we can't define what a woman is. But also men can be women. And no uterus, no opinion. But also men can get pregnant. Men are oppressing us. But also, it's okay if biological men take over our spaces and our sports. Women are so over-sexualized in this culture, but it's empowering if women are the ones sexualizing themselves. Are you guys quite done yet? Like, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit confused by all of it myself. It just really feels like gaslighting to me, all of it. It's like a purposeful gaslighting of themselves, but also gaslighting of everybody else, and then claiming that it's all perfectly all right. I just see it as somewhat narcissistic. Anyway, let's okay. Let's see if I can be a little bit more professional here. And let's have a look at this rather fantastic post today in the Great British Broadcasting Corporation. This gives you an understanding of why sharks are so dangerous. They're all bloody high on cocaine, apparently. Quite stunning. Sharks off the Brazil coast test positive for cocaine. Apparently, it's nothing to do really with. Oh, I'm tired. It's nothing really at all to do with lumps of cocaine and drugs being dropped. Thought somebody was coming in there. Lumps of cocaine and drugs being dropped off in the sea, waiting for either somebody else to come and pick them up or being thrown overboard because the police are after them. No, it's to do with the sewage off runs from producing cocaine, apparently. Anyhow, that's a little fun one to start with. Here's another fun one. I keep thinking my son's about to come in, but I think he's just throwing a ball at the wall. The United States Secret Service boss has resigned over the Trump shooting failures. It was bound to happen, I guess. Maybe. I think she could have ridden this out. She could have done. She could have just sat there and waited because Biden wasn't going to sack her. Nobody knows whether he's still alive. Apparently, he was videoed walking up onto an aeroplane today. And apparently, he had a telephone call with Kamala while she was... What was she doing? She was talking to some donors and Democrat leaders, apparently. I've no idea. But all of that could be fake, completely fake. So, talking about the shooting. So, I don't know whether you might have seen this. I don't know whether anybody's really yeah, this is it. I don't know whether anybody's really been pushing this at all. I do that. Comes a bit better. So this is being explained here, and it's within the context of the Donald Trump shooting.
And I've got to say, I thought that was really weird. So it then started. I looked into a couple of other things because there was in terms of these investigations going on as well. There is one line of inquiry which is not being talked about, and it was the one that I mentioned. As soon as it happened, I said, "This is a bit weird." I did that video. Some people were a bit funny about the video because, you know, obviously the shooting just happened. Everything's very sensitive. So I was being careful how I tread. But one thing I thought straight away was it reminded me of some of these campaigns. And, you know, I was in the military. I did a lot of interesting stuff. It reminded me of one of these campaigns where there's a lot of psychological stuff that goes on.
Have you ever seen the magic glasses that can see clearly without glasses?
These magic glasses that you can see clearly without glasses.
And rather than me talk through it, because you'll think, okay, Neil, whatever, I thought I'd just show you something that shows you yourself. Now, did you ever see this on Darren Brown? It was called Man Steals £100,000. It was called The Heist. So Darren Brown is a illusionist, is a hypnotist. So he took this guy, he's just a random guy, and he hypnotized him. And the guy didn't even realize he'd been hypnotized. So what does the guy do? He's been hypnotized into robbing an armed vehicle. Here it is. And then you'll hear the key in a second. There it is, there's the key. Okay, so what happened? He's just heard the music. Now he's been triggered. So he's been activated, basically. What does he do? He goes past the... Ready for this?
Excuse me, mate.
Now, this is what's really interesting about this is the guy is not hypnotized, doesn't know that he has been hypnotized, doesn't know that there's a trigger, but here's the trigger, and then pulls a handgun out of his pocket. Now, while he was walking before he got the trigger, how did he not know about having a handgun in his pocket? Because one of the weird things about Britain is handguns are illegal. You can't walk around with them at all. The only people that would have a handgun in their pocket would be an armed robber or a murderer. So couldn't he feel that in his pocket he had this really heavy object prior to the trigger coming along? I find that really strange. I'm finding it very, very weird, particularly because of Britain's aversion to guns.
Okay, I can't actually show. I forgot there was a gun in the scene because this video will get banned. But anyway, he robs the guy. Oh gosh, there's so much guns in this scene. Okay, and then he runs off. Okay.
I love how he tried to get away from showing the guns, and every jump that he did, boom, 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 he showed the gun over and over again.
And then they all come. Danny.
Here comes Darren.
Okay, and then he deactivates it. He wakes him up.
Absolutely fascinating, yeah. I don't know whether that's just good acting by everybody. Absolutely everybody. The idea that he's a... I'm assuming the gun wasn't loaded. Or if it was loaded, it was loaded with blanks or whatever. But the idea of somebody just walking along a British street. Shall we try and go back a little bit and just see this? Right. He's walking along there. It's like, and this is when he's not been triggered into the hypnotism. How does he not feel a big, heavy handgun is in his pocket? But it's a really good conspiracy theory. The concept is that this guy Crooks, who shot President Trump, might have been hypnotized to do it. I might not have known anything that he's doing, but because he ended up with a bullet through his brain, no one can ask him. No one can find out. Which is fascinating in and of itself. Anyway, talking about the Big Donald. Let's have a look at Billie Eilish, shall we? Add her to the stage. She thinks Trump is the problem.
Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. And that starts by voting for someone who understands how much is at stake. Someone who's building a team that shares our values. It starts with voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden. Silence is not an option, and we cannot sit this one out. We all have to vote like our lives and the world depend on it, because they do. The only way to be certain of the future is to make it ourselves. Please register. Please vote. Donald Trump is...
That aged well. Apparently, you've got to vote for Joe Biden, But you can't do that now. And apparently Joe Biden's doing really well in Billie Eilish's view because he's just throwing money at everybody. That's about it. He's throwing money at everyone and he's making sure that there's a lot of hate in the world and a lot of wars going on and a lot of people getting killed. And he wants to kill more people in China and in Iran, over and above the stuff that he's got going on in Israel and in Ukraine. It's like, yeah, Billy, you're sort of missing quite a bit here. The world can be a pretty good place when it lives by certain principles, and those principles stay solid. When you end up in this, if you saw the What is a Woman clip earlier, nobody knows what the hell's going on at all. If you think that the world is going to be a better place by voting in the Democrats again, that's one surefire way to make sure that Russia and China expand their influence globally across the global south, across the Middle East, across Asia, across Africa, across South America, and the United States goes down the pan much, much faster. That is what happens if you vote for the Democrats. There's also the migrant issues, you know. This Marxist, feminist communism that these people want to achieve in Western countries has never historically done very well at all. You end up with fascist dictators, national socialism. The word socialism should give you an idea. The Fascismo Party in Italy, the Soviet project, shall we call it, with Stalin across the Soviet Empire, the Mao Revolution in China. None of it's anything other than fascism. Rebuke and Reprove says, why are people still supporting Democrats after their failed attack on Trump? Because they're stupid, Jill. They don't see anything else of it. But what I want you to see, Jill, I've got something just for you. You will really enjoy this. Let's get rid of Billie Eilish. I have somebody else to show you. This is really funny. Let me present this. Now you may want to turn down your volume just a little bit. And you might want to avert your eyes. Now, this chap looks like a very masculine guy. I lied.
He dropped out!
You dropped out! Oh my God!
He dropped out! Joe Biden, please!
Please, 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 please.
Gen Z, we need to band together. Please.
Gen Z, we need
He
to
was for
band
Gen
together.
Z's first president.
Now, I actually think that was fake. I think this. I'm not saying that his really, really bad personality and complete lacking in any masculinity is fake, but I reckon he's a trainee drama teacher at some woke New York university or college somewhere, because his fake crying and his screaming like he was doing right here, there were no tears, there was no real emotion there. This was all completely fucking fake. This is like a woman having been caught out about having lied, and she has to fake cry. But women can do it much better. They've actually got tears streaming down their face when they do it. They've got it right down to a T. It's natural. But even these feminized men can't actually deliver the same. So I just thought, I noticed you said you've seen it, Jill. Well, at least you laughed, and you put even better tears in your laugh than this guy did. I'll show that on screen because I thought it was very good. I thought I would share it, and right. Let's have a look at Kamala, shall we? Let's have a look at what Kamala just said. Listen to this. Listen to this very, very carefully. Did Kamala just say what I think she said?
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more population, vehicles and reduce population, electric vehicles and reduce population, vehicles and reduce population, vehicles and reduce population, and reduce population, and reduce population, and reduce population, and reduce population.
I think she's having as much a problem with the teleprompter as Dementia Joe has. I'm pretty sure she meant to say reduce pollution, but she let the cat out of the bag. Reduce population. And let's just have a listen to all that clapping again.
More of our children can breathe clean air.
More of our children can breathe clean air. What she's talking about that is percentage-wise. Because if you get rid of 50% of them by reducing the population, then the ones left will be sucking in less polluted air. So you've got to be very careful with this, lady.
Electric vehicles and reduce population, and reduce population, and reduce population, and reduce population, and reduce population.
I just had to keep doing that. I had to keep doing it. Anyhow, let's stick with let's stick with a bit of United States politics, but let's go a little bit outside the United States to have a look at somebody else's point of view about the United States, in particular about geopolitics. This is Ortega.
Que organizaron esa guardia genocida con la que se tuvo que luchar durante tantos años. Esos son los responsables. ¿Quiénes son esos? Los gobernadores.
Actually, what I'll do, I'll actually reduce the sound down and I will read it out for you. Because a lot of you might not actually, be able to see the screen. So those who are armed to Moses, those who organized that genocidal National Guard, let's get rid of me out of this screen, shall we? Which we had to fight for so many years. Those are the responsible ones. Who are they? The North American rulers. And what do the North American presidents represent? They're simply placed there for any of the parties to serve the military industry. The more war, the more business for the military industry. To serve the large North American companies. That is, it is not to serve the North American people, but to enrich the richest in the United States. In Ukraine, they arm the Nazi forces. That the Red Army fought in World War II. They managed to impose a Nazi state and a fascist government by coup d'etat. And from there, murdering citizens, especially those of Russian origin. In Ukraine, fascism is being installed again. And from Europe, they are strengthening fascism. We also see how the imperialists are targeting the people that, by agreements of international organizations in the United Nations, has the right to be a state, the Palestinian state, a people that is being subjected to genocide, where children are being murdered every day, where young people are being murdered every day, and the European government, the government of the United States, gathered in NATO, decide every day to give more and more weapons so they continue to bomb the Palestinian people. Now, the powers groups in NATO have a war prepared, what they call a threat. Russia, China are a threat. That is, every time nations or countries come together, where sovereignty is respected and where agreements are made, for their people, they see that as a threat. That is, if this is about putting an end to the countries that are a threat to their own peoples and to humanity, then it would be necessary to take seriously in international organizations that those powers disappear, that NATO disappears. Then we will have a little more tranquility, a little more security in the world. I thought that was quite powerful myself. That was Ortega. Where's Ortega from? Where is he? Paraguay? Ortega's President Ortega. Daniel Ortega, Nicaragua. He gives a very clear view from South America of the impact of the United States on the rest of the world. And it is a view that is shared by a lot of people, and a lot of people can't say anything. They're not allowed to say anything. They're scared to say anything. That's nerdy. What? Oh, Nicaragua. Nerdy. Always getting in some sexism. Naughty. But it gives a clear view on how the rest of the world is looking at things, and they are looking forward to this multipolar world where each country is respected, each country's culture, each country's way of life, each country's politics is left to the people of their own of their own country to determine their way forward. And Russia and China are going to help with that. Now, whether Russia and China are actually putting people under their cosh is a separate question. But most of Africa, most of South America, pretty much all of the Middle East, all of Asia, are quite happy to be accepting the help of Russia and China, and I think India. They're quite happy and quite keen to join the BRICS organizations. And yeah, they will prevail, I think. I think our time is coming to an end as the hegemonic powers, British time ended bloody God knows how long ago. We've got used to it. We're just a little country on the edge of Europe who likes to hang on the coattails of the Americans and the EU. Talking of the EU, let's pull this up. This is from Visegrad. And this is about France. How bad are tensions in the new French Parliament? In accordance with tradition, the first session of the Parliament is chaired by the oldest MP, with the youngest MP being their secretary. 22-year-old Flavien Terme from Le Pen's National Rally, which is the right wing, is supposed to shake hands with MPs after they vote. The MPs from the far left alliance all refused to shake his hand. One of them, the former Communist Party member and Algerian migrant from Marseille, Sébastien Delogu, stares threateningly at Terme as he extends his hand. Now, this is quite interesting, and I thought you might be interested to see it. That was quite funny. Rock, paper, scissors. I got to say, I think Terme took this quite well. He had to stand there and be ignored by MP after MP after MP after MP who all refused to shake his hand. Which is it's a bit childish, really. I got to say. Shall we have a quick look at a little bit of what's going on with Ukraine? So, from X again, the commander of the US forces in Europe, General Cavoli. We can have no illusions. At the end of the conflict, whatever the outcome, we're going to have a very, very big Russian problem. We're going to have a situation where Russia is rebuilding its strength, is on NATO's borders, is led by most of the same people it is right now, is convinced that we are the enemy, and is very, very angry. I'd like to highlight this bit. Is on NATO's borders. What a fucking plonker. I've got to say. What a gaslighting, lying piece of shit. NATO extended itself to push itself up against Russia's borders all the way through the 1990s, the 2000s. Then in 2008, even tried to get Ukraine and Georgia to be the next two countries to come in, both of which had historically had really good relations with Russia, both of which have had their politics meddled with, one of which has gone decidedly National Socialist. The other one, in 2008, decided that they would go and attack a group of people that see themselves as ethnic Russians in the north of Georgia. And Russia had to go in and put down the uprising and protect their people, just like Russia has had to go in and put down Ukraine to protect Russian people in the south and east of Ukraine. And look where it's led us. Gaslighting, lying pieces of shit, saying, we're going to have a situation where Russia is rebuilding its strength, is on NATO's borders. NATO expanded to assure that it was on Russia's borders with the very intent of being very aggressive. That's why, and along with the Ukraine aspect, that's why Russia is convinced that the West is their enemy. And I don't think Russia is very, very angry. Russia is very, very stoic. It is looking at everything that the West does to it and is acting accordingly and objectively and very, very cleverly. It has rebuilt its strength. It's rebuilt its strength since the year 2000 when Putin first came in, and is now able to actually push back when America and NATO and the West cross its red lines. The very, very big problem that America has got is that the BRICS countries, which includes Russia, China, India, and Brazil, alongside the new BRICS countries, which include Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Ethiopia, I think, and Iran. And they're going to have think Colombia soon. I think Brazil has proposed Colombia. And there are many, many, many other countries, including Thailand, very likely Vietnam, lots of African countries and lots of South American countries and Asian countries want to join. And why do they want to join? Because BRICS is seen as a respectful economic trading bloc that works on principles. And frankly, China and India are way ahead in terms of total control of the economic sphere. Russia is getting up there. Iran, with their help, along with Saudi Arabia, all the oil that's coming out of there. The world is just changing. It's just changing. So let's have a look what comments we've got. Who's Kappa McSpankies? Who is that? What is this schizophrenic gobbledygook about? It's about schizophrenic gobbledygook, really. Nerdy Rodent says it's something to do with Russia and China. Hello, Sandy. Sandy, where's my Sandy stuff? Let's see if any of this comes out. I don't know whether that came through. See what happens when I go start making brownies? Heretic goes live. Well, I did notice that Brojo went live a couple of times, but then he went not live and he didn't stay on very long. And all he was doing was showing something else that was already being shown live on other stuff. And each time I started seeing the notification and went to watch, it was just finishing and it was playing his last bit. And it's like, oh, well, but boring anyway. But hey ho. Sandy should make brownies more often. Nerdy's going to eat them. No, you'll get burned. They're in the oven, Nerdy. He's got big teeth. He's a rodent. Now they smell like burnt rodent pouts. Nope, it was schizophrenic gobbledygook. I think you're wrong. I reckon it was schizophrenic gobbledygook. Yeah, Brojo was just being boring. I know. I mean, hey, what can I say? What can I say? Need people in there.
Una información que no te...
Now, this is... What is this about? I know what this is about. This might interest some of the British people. Hashtag blame all women. As always, Sandy. Now, I'm going to have to reduce down the volume on this and read out what they're saying. And it's in Spanish. It's luckily for me, it's got British translation on the bottom. But they talk really fast in Spain. Really, really, really fast. I'm not used to speaking really fast. I don't do it very often. So I'm going to have to read through the words as quickly as possible in order to just get there before it moves over to the next bit, in case other people can't actually see it. So let's quickly, let's go.
Me acaban de pasar una información.
They've just given me information that I can't confirm. I've asked for confirmation, and they've told me that they are 100% sure. These are sources I have known for many years. Well, it may be 30 years. Normally, they're very reliable. So there has been a Russian attack on Odessa, in which at least 18 members of the British SAS have died.
del Servicio Especial del Aire
Interesting.
británico.
SAS, the British
además,
Special
otros
Air
25
Service,
heridos también
and
del
another
SAS.
25 were
Y me están
wounded also
diciendo
from the
que
SSS.
franceses
And they're telling
que
me
hayan
that
muerto,
Frenchmen,
soldados franceses,
French
estamos hablando
soldiers have
no de
died.
mercenarios,
We're not
que
talking
sean
about
franceses, no, de
mercenaries.
soldados
These
del
are
ejército
French
francés
soldiers.
que llevan muertos
They've been
muchísimos.
killed in
Me
large
decían
numbers.
que
They
están
told me
hablando
that
de
we're
que
talking
más
about
que en
even
Argelia.
more than in
Son datos
Algeria.
escalofriantes, porque
These
estamos
numbers
hablando
are
de
chilling
países de la
because we are
OTAN que
talking about
obviamente, tú
NATO
sabes que los
countries.
primeros que
And
actúan en estos
obviously,
escenarios
you know
son
that the
siempre las
first to
fuerzas de
act in
operaciones
these
especiales.
scenarios are
Y
always the
además se
Special
sabía desde
Operations
hacía mucho
Forces.
tiempo que
And it has
evidentemente
also
había
been known
fuerzas
for a
de
long
operaciones
time that there
especiales
were
que,
evidently
entre otras
Special
cosas,
Operations
son las
Forces,
que
that
sirven
other
para
things that
guiar,
serve
por
to
ejemplo,
guide,
a los
for
misiles,
example,
para iluminar los
missiles,
blancos,
to
porque
illuminate the
sabes,
targets,
no
as
solo de
you
los
well
misiles,
know,
sino también
not
incluso
only
de
of the
los drones,
missiles, but
porque
also
es
of the
parte de su
drones,
misión, ¿no?
because it's
Aparte del
part of their mission.
asesoramiento y aparte
Apart,
realizar
apart from
operaciones
carrying out
de
disruption
perturbación
of
de todo
operations
tipo,
of all
de
kinds,
entrenar a las fuerzas de
training
operaciones especiales de
Special
los lugares.
Operations Forces. Jesus Christ Almighty. How am I supposed to learn Spanish if they all fucking speak that fast, eh? I don't get it. I'd listen to me mum with her family. So, holy shit. How does anybody learn this language? Spanish is supposed to be one of the easiest languages to learn. But it's like a fucking machine gun. What are you supposed to do? I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So there has been a Russian attack on Odessa in which at least 18 members of the British SAS have died. Now, let's see if I can find something else in my secret areas that gives me a little bit more about this. During a strike by the Russian armed forces on a facility in Odessa, 18 members of the British Special Air Service were killed and another 25 were wounded. This, right, the people who this are, this is according to Spanish Army Reserve Colonel Pedro Baños. And he's also saying active soldiers of the French army were killed. So that is both Britain and France, with their official armies, their official special forces people, fighting in Ukraine. According to this, what's his name again? Colonel Pedro Baños. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's get rid of that. Now, I did have some other stuff. Let's see. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. All right. I think I can show this. Because it's sticking with the concept of Ukraine. Does anybody recognize this guy? This is the great Bojo, the great Boris Johnson, our erstwhile ex-prime minister, kicked out for being the biggest asshole that there could ever be. Now, Boris Johnson, in the beginning of April 2022, our erstwhile Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, trotted off to Ukraine, had a good chat with the guy in the green t-shirt, smelled in his odor, and passed on the curse. He basically told him, you're not going to sign the agreement that you have just made with Russia. You're going to fight to the last Ukrainian. You're going to win. You're going to get back all of your land, including Crimea. And we are going to help you do that by giving you shitloads of money, shitloads of weapons, all the help that you require. You just ask for it, you'll be given it. You need it, you've got it. Didn't quite work out that way. But what's he saying now? What is the old Quantahaha saying now? He's saying in the Daily Mail, of which he is now probably their highest paid columnist, why I am more convinced than ever that Donald Trump has the strength and bravery to save Ukraine and end this appalling war. That is the headline on this. I've not read the rest of it. Because what's the point? We know that his concept of ending this appalling war is Donald Trump marches in to the Kremlin, grabs Putin around the neck and goes, "Oi, you Quantahaha, stop fucking doing this shit and get out of Ukraine now so that we can bully the fucking shit out of you and have NATO missiles and nuclear missiles right on your border so that you cannot react if we send any of the motherfucking things." That's what he thinks. But this title seems to say something else, because if you listen to JD Vance, he's not in line with Bojo's original stuff. He thinks that the whole thing has been a complete waste of money. It's made the military-industrial complex much, much richer to the detriment of absolutely everybody else in America and across the West. And he doesn't understand why we're involved in the equivalent of a civil war halfway around the fucking world. And frankly, neither does Trump. So we will see what Trump's actions are, but the key bit to understand is that neither Russia nor China are playing anymore, as we saw with the comment from General Cavoli. He said they're very, very angry. I say they are much more confident in their own skin. Right. That'll do. Let's see. Where did I get up to in the chat? Seems he's doing that in Pine Creek's side chat anyway. Who's that? Blaming all women? Oh, Brojo just being boring. Oh, hello, Brojo. You all right, mate? Go bloody live and let some people in, you boring git. Sandy says she's been spying. It was a very lonely weekend. What do you mean it's lonely? Lonely? A very lovely weekend. I had a dog. I had a dog all weekend. Let me show you my dog that I was looking after. Stop screen there. Don't want that. Present that. Share screen. There we go. That was the dog that I was looking after all weekend. Lovely little dog. 14 months old. My son came up with his girlfriend, dropped the dog off on Wednesday night, and I went, "See ya, I'll be back on Sunday night." And he and I had lots of fun. Lots of fun. This weekend. So I didn't have a lonely weekend at all. But the little sod gets me up at 6 o'clock in the morning because he wants to go out running around. So we went out running around. Well, he was running around. I was throwing a frisbee for him. Oh, hell, he's just got more bad news for us. Heads back to check the oven. Don't forget Nerdy wants some of them. When? Brojo, some kind of funny face. Sandy sticking her tongue out. It was just one particular comment, says Nerdy. Here, Da, look after your grand dog. Yes, exactly. We're off to do the funky chicken. That's exactly what they were off to do. Right. Stop that. Oh, Christ, I've lost everything now. Now, I quite like this. I'm going to share this one. I've been watching lots of videos recently about Karens. Karens! So this one tickled my fancy. Why can't I get rid of that bit? I want to do something with that. You do that. Oh well, let's just present the bloody thing. Get on with it. Stop being a pussy. Yes, that's the one. Let's get going, shall we?
I used to work at a biotech company as a biochemical engineer. We had this one guy working there who, for confidentiality reasons, I'm just gonna call him Jim. Now, Jim was like a genius, and everybody working there at the time knew and respected him. He was about 70 years old and still working strong despite being confined to a wheelchair. He pretty much single-handedly created a ton of the machines we use on a daily basis. He is a little bit
I think it's a great idea. House sitters get somewhere to stay, and we, the house owners, get someone to look after our home and our animals. And
bit socially.
Adverts. How did they know I was just talking about dogs and they had a dog coming along right at the beginning of it? I don't get it. I don't know. This AI, scary shit.
Awkward, but everybody at the company knows and loves him. That all changed when our CEO retired and a new woman entered the scene. I'm gonna call her Karen, and if you don't understand why, you will in a couple of minutes. I know that's a pretty male-dominated field, so any woman in power needs to come in with a lot of authority to prove herself. I've seen it done before the right way and the wrong way, and Karen was definitely doing it the wrong way. She came in thinking she had to show off how much power she had by changing things that were working fine. The entire place was in chaos for about 2 weeks because of her, and getting work done ranged from hard to impossible. She also felt like she needed to prove something as being the boss because she targeted poor old Jim. Nobody knew what her problem was with him, but we all heard her one day ream him out badly. Karen, I see you just sitting there all day staring at papers. You're not doing a damn thing. Just because you're old and in a wheelchair, you think you have the right to do anything you want. Well, that might have went over fine with the old CEO, but things are different around here now. There was a pause and I couldn't hear Jim's side of the conversation because he is soft-spoken and this was behind a door. I did hear Karen after another minute or so screaming again. Karen, you think that I don't know how to run my own company? I don't give two damns about your contract. I don't know how an old crippled man managed to stay in the industry for so long, but nowadays we use something called technology. You look like you've never even seen a computer screen in your life. I want you out of here.
That's because I was so professional, Sandy. And that was the AI coming in to stop me from really ruining the video by screaming and shouting and swearing too much. Honest Injun.
Here by the end of the day, and if you come back, I'll make sure security has you arrested. I have no idea what the hell crawled up Karen's rear, but she just fired good old Jim. arguably one of the most important people in the entire company, as well as insulted him. If she had anybody liking her before that point, it was gone the minute Jim packed up his things and left. What I did not know until a few days later was Karen really should have looked over his contract, because in firing Jim, she had just started the downfall of the entire company. I mentioned before that Jim basically invented most of the things around here, some of which are not used anywhere else, and because of contracts and confidentiality, I'm too worried to give an example. When he created these things, he filed the patents himself, meaning these patents were in his name and not the company. His contract had a clause that while he worked for the company, his patents could only be used for this company. However, when he chose to retire, he would sign the rights to the patents over. However, with the way he was fired, all of the patents had to go with him.
That's fascinating, is that? I love that. The guy gets to do all the patents. He's done all the stuff. He's the one that has pushed this company. He's the one that has got it to where it is, and this new person comes in and shits all over him and sacks him. So he just gets his revenge. Absolutely fucking brilliant.
And we did not pay for their use, and he was too angry to just let it slide. So all of the things we were using that he had invented had to be removed, and all of the progress we were making on projects was just gone. None of us were upset, and all on Jim's side except for Karen. She did not understand why the hell all of the stuff was gone, and projects had to be stopped. When she got told that Jim owned all of that, she knew that she made a mistake. I heard that she tried to send him gift baskets or offer him his job back with a raise. He refused all of it because he had something planned that was gonna make sure Karen lost everything. Actually, two things, because he also had a wrongful termination lawsuit filed against Karen because the entire office could hear her insulting him based on age and disability.
Equality, baby.
Two things that are illegal to fire somebody because of, especially if they are under a contract. The other thing he did was to go to our main competitors and got hired right away. They knew what they were gonna get with him and hired him basically just to get a hold of his patents and use them. While our company was halted, the competition was thriving with the new stuff and accomplishing the things we were meant to be doing and would have if Karen had just left Jim alone. Despite being the CEO, she was getting destroyed by the board of directors, and they wanted to find some way to get her out because of all the damage she had done. I did not give a real scale for anything yet because I wanted to make it a little more dramatic. So we are talking about financial company losses in the millions, all connected to her firing Jim because she had something to prove or just hated old disabled people. The company was thinking fast, and they lost more money in court when they were found of wrongfully terminating Jim. Everybody working here knew that it was only a matter of time, and people who were not under contract and could quit did so. I was on that list and managed to get out of that job before I was not gonna have one anymore. I don't know what recourse the workers under contract that wanted to leave could do or even did. I just know what happened overall with Karen and then the company. With all of the pressure and hate, she had to step down from the CEO position of the company after only being there for 3 months. It only took 3 months for her to turn a thriving company who was close to being at the top of the field into a dumpster fire that had people running away because we knew bankruptcy was on the horizon. Meanwhile, the company Jim was at was doing amazing with his patents and started hiring more people. Some went there, but I needed to just get away from all that drama. I got a job in a lab that was a lot less stressful, and I'm still working there to this day. I do sometimes think about Jim and how just one man was the difference between a company being amazing and falling apart.
It's an absolutely astonishing story. I've no idea how true it is. It looks like it's an AI-generated story. I'm pretty sure the guy that was reading it out wasn't AI, because he was able to put the right inflections into the right places. But a great story about the kind of impact an individual can have both in a good way and in a really, really bad way. Anyway, it's now midnight here in the Great British Isles, and I'm going to call it a day. I might listen to some of Brojo's earlier videos to help me go to sleep. So, with that in mind, I shall bid you all good night.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Say goodbye. Got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I shot my wife in the stomach with 38.
Why did you do this?
She enticed me and she ridiculed me throughout my lifetime. I'll see if she's alive. You alive? Yeah. I think she's dead.
Sensational.
Things that men do to upset women.
Breathe. Just stop it. We don't like it. It pisses us off. Stop breathing, okay?
So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit to make America what it is.
Great again.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, there will always be something to offend a feminist.